Chapter 11. Back to the tunnel, kids. Miguel looked up. "I'm enjoying this," he said. "May I continue?" "Yes," shouted the crowd. Miguel started reading straight away. After they collected some sleeping bags, some old coats, and a heap more food, they ran back to the Fountain World tunnel. Solo and Toll checked their bikes, which were safely hidden. "We mustn't tell them we just met the thieves," said Jax. "No way," said Solo. "They'll only think we're in with them," said Toll, "but as if we would be." They gave one another high fives before heading into the Fountain Well tunnel. From there they easily made their way to the dungeon tunnel. They all felt excited, especially Toll and Solo. This day was turning out to be the best ever in their tunnelling history. And even though they were all afraid of what might happen, they also knew that without their help, the tunnel kids could have remained in danger for weeks. When they reached the dungeons, they made the special cooing noise as a password. Nose cooed back, "Grrr, grrr," and then came out to find them. "We're in here," he said. There was a kind of maze of tunnels that led to a cosy dungeon at the back. The tunnel kids had decorated it with old clothes they'd found, some discarded carpet, and there were even some solar fairy lights. "Wow," said Jax, pointing to the lights. "We have to take them outside every day to recharge them," said Petrol, "but it's worth it." "We brought some gear," said Toll, putting the sleeping bags and other things into the middle of the room. "Did you see any magic creatures?" asked Jax. Sorry, I need to fix that. "Did you see any magic creatures?" asked Petrol, knowing that Solo had been looking to meet up with magical creatures down under. "No," said Solo with a sigh. "Yes, we did," Toll corrected him. "We met a feral angel." "A feral angel?" said Petrol in a mocking tone. "Yes," said Toll. "He was in the shape of a bumblebee, but he said his name was Halo, and he was very aggressive." Petrol shook her head. "Seriously?" she asked. "A feral angel in the shape of a bee?" Petrol's voice was mocking Toll. "How do we know that you three aren't in it up to your necks?" she continued. "Just wasting our time until the thieves turn up to take us away." "You don't," said Jax, "but we do, and for now, the way I see it, we're your best chance of finding your families." Petrol looked as if she'd like to punch Jax, but she didn't. Instead, she sat down next to Squid. "What did the feral angel say?" asked Bullant. "That adventures would be coming and not to be afraid," said Solo. "Adventures," said Petrol. "This isn't some adventure. It might be for you, but it's life or death for us." Dodger nodded. "Sorry, mate," he said, "but an angel in the shape of a bee and adventures, it sounds a bit whacked." Solo looked down. "We're not making up this stuff," he said. "The angel bee just appeared. We can't help that." Everyone was quiet for a while. "It's okay," said Jax. "Here's what we'll do. Well, here's what I think we should do. You guys can choose." Petrol looked at Jax fiercely, and after a while she nodded. "I stay here with all of you, so you're safe." Jax shot flames from her hands again, and then waved her hands over the ground, producing a tablecloth with a feast on it. "Oh, man," said Nose. "I'm starved. You can stay. Thank you." The tunnel kids all looked at one another. "You have to admit," said Bullant, "there's not much to dislike about this one." Jax smiled at him. "Thank you," she said. "I'm not a traitor. No ice witch ever has been a traitor, and we don't hang out with traitors either. These guys are good. I can vouch for them." Dodger nodded, helping himself to a hot chocolate and beaming at Jax. "Okay," said Jax, "so I stay here, but you two go home and tell your parents what's going on." "No," said Petrol, standing up. "No way." Jax stared at Petrol, but not in a hateful way. She looked like she was just waiting. Petrel sat down again and put Squid on her lap. Our parents are imaginicians, said Solo. Whatever that is, said Petrel with a look of defiance. It's a person who can combine imagination with magic, said Jax. It's someone who believes in possibility. These guys will go into training soon to learn it, but I'm born with my magic. Ice witches don't have to train to have magic, but they can train to learn more, things like time travel and the physics of enchantment. So I'm going into training soon too. Dodger nodded, looking like he trusted Jax. I think she's good, said Squid, looking up at Petrel. I think Mummy would like her, and Daddy. Squid's eyes filled with tears. Want some fairy bread? Asked Nose, handing Squid some triangles of bread covered in little balls of colour. I agree, said Toll. If we tell our parents, they'll be able to get some help. We can keep you down in these tunnels forever, but if nothing's done about the thieves, what use will it be? And who knows where your parents are, said Solo. They might be in real danger. Very real danger, said Jax. Petrel sighed and nodded. You're right, of course, she said. I'm just tired and scared. Petrel's dark eyes finally showed the fear she was really feeling, and then she started to cry. Dodger and Squid hugged her as she sobbed. We're so sorry, said Jax. Petrel nodded, but she couldn't speak. Squid snuggled in next to her. Jax ran her hands across the floor and some talking teddies appeared, one for each of the children. Take it easy, said one of the teddies. Squid jumped up. Hey, she said, you can be mine. Good, said the teddy. My name is Brewster. I like that name, said Squid, smiling at her talking teddy. Look, she said to Petrel. Her big sister smiled through her tears and then she giggled. Hello, Brewster, she said. Can I have a teddy too? Of course, he said. Squid picked up a blue teddy for Petrel. I'm Party, said the teddy. Can we dance later? Petrel smiled at him. Of course, she said, giving him a big hug. When Dodger, Nose and Bullant had their teddies too, it was time for Solo and Toll to go. We said we'd be home by 6, said Solo, but I promise you, our parents are really great. They'll know what to do. They will, said Toll, looking serious. We'll get a message to Jax as soon as we can, said Solo, and if Mum and Dad are up for it, we'll bring them back to meet you. Petrel nodded. Thank you, she said, hugging Party. Thank you, said Party, his little blue face peering out from his snuggling place inside Petrel's jacket.